Good afternoon, everyone. Mike Wisnowski, Director of Planning and Zoning here in Queen Anne's County. Thank you for coming out on a dreadful Thursday afternoon. I would just like to say that we are extremely excited to begin this process of our new 2020 Comprehensive Plan update. We're very excited to kick this off publicly. Our consultants have been working for months now preparing for this meeting and other meetings as they move forward. Before we get started, I would just like to recognize a few folks in the audience. Commissioner Dumanol is here with us this afternoon, along with Planning Commission member Bob Priest and former Commissioner Mark Anderson. This document ultimately lies at the feet of the Planning Commission, so I'm very pleased to see Planning Commission member Priest here with us this afternoon. And we are very excited, and we all want you to understand that this is a collaborative process, that all of your opinions matter, and they will be documented as we go through this process. I'd like to introduce now Ginny Smith from Smith Planning and Design. They're our designated consultant, and she'll kick us off. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. So just first off, so you know who's in the room and who will be helping us this evening throughout this process, we have Michelle King, Matthew Smith, and then Krista Brady in the back. So after we get through the presentation, we'll have some stations and things going on, so they'll be there to help you, as well as Mike and Amy. So hopefully we'll all be here to answer your questions, and you'll have some time with us. So Michelle, let's get started. So this is our first visioning session. If you've seen the flyers go up, it's one of 4 visioning sessions. However, thereafter, there are many other things that we have in the work for the next quarter, public forums and other sessions that we'll be having throughout the plan development process. So lucky us, you get to do this first. I just have a couple questions just so I can see who's in the audience tonight. Does anyone that's present live outside of the Chester or Stevensville area? Other parts of the county? Excellent. Good. Anticipated that. And was anyone in the room part of the 2010 comprehensive plan development process? So we have a few in the room. How many of you were able to see that or access that on the website, that 2010 plan? You were able to get to it? Okay. And then what about the development of the community plan for Chester-Stevensville? Has anyone or did anyone work on that? Okay, we have a few. Excellent. Excellent. And that is on the website, the county website as well, under community plans, under planning and zoning. Did most of you have a chance, or were you able to access that, or any problems with seeing that? Okay. Okay. So this first step in this process, and we are at step 1. So this is basically in our project development phase. We're saying this is quarter 1, basically January through March. And so our first quarter, we're really working on step 1, which is gathering information and resources. So we're in that process now. Thank you for attending. We're doing different things to get to stakeholders, public and other key stakeholders. So I do want to show you what's been done and what we're planning to do. So let's go to this. So the first thing we did was a very broad survey, just to kind of get a temperature and see what people had to say about what a decade later, after the 2010 plan, has anything changed? Are perceptions different? Are they the same? But it's just our first broad stroke. So the public survey is actually online at the website. Did anyone have a chance to take the public survey yet? Good. Okay. What I will tell you is after we do this, we're going to clear out some chairs here in the middle. After the presentation, we'll be working on the sides of the room. We also brought in the back of the room, kind of behind Commissioner Moran back there, we brought, there's a laptop. You didn't have to move, but you gave, we brought a laptop, and it has the website loaded, and you could take that public survey if you choose to do that, or just look at it. It's in the back. We also have hard copies of the survey in the back. We did two different things. So when we talked about the survey, we said, okay, we want an online option, but we've heard that not everybody can get online. There's some broadband and some access issues here. So we did do an online fillable survey. Luckily, if you go to the next one, luckily we did, I think it was December, it's on the next slide, but Michelle and I and Amy, we went to the Council of Governments meeting, so all your town officials, and we said, hey, we have this survey box, we have this station. Are you willing to put these up so that they're strategically around the county? And by and large, everyone did that. I even think, was it Queen Anne, Michelle?
The town of Queen Anne. They
The-
actually, I don't know if this is on. If you can't hear me. The town of Queen Anne, actually, because they just constructed their new town hall and nobody's really there to man it. So they went out and distributed throughout the town and then went back and collected all of them. So that was
That
a
was
really great effort.
helpful.
And we were so appreciative.
Very helpful. And then we have a few other locations, and they are at if you go to any of the county commissioners meetings, there's a box there, and then over at the Vincent building. So we have those placed, and hopefully they're prominent enough, so you'll kind of see what that station looks like in the back.
Yeah.
Let's go next.
Wait, I think you're,
Oh, am I in the way?
might be in the way.
That
Sorry.
happens. So part of the gathering information process so far, the original 2010 plan, there was a technical committee comprised mainly of county department agency folks, state agencies. And so a lot of the actual recommendations and implementation items that came out of the 2010 plan, they were all charged with doing or overseeing those. So different departments were listed. So the first thing we wanted to do is to see, where are we? What's going on? What has been done over the last decade? And what's still relevant? Oftentimes, there are things that we say, okay, we want to continue or maybe need a little tweaking. So we started there, and we did get a status report. So we're that's a jumping off board because this is an update process. A lot of work went into the previous plan. It took a number of years. We're updating this plan, and the goal is to have a draft for Q4 for review, public review, and adoption, so that October through the end of the year will be in that stage. So the other item that we did was we went to the Council of Governments because we want to make sure that what we're doing on the county side of the plan of the house is also in concert and working with what the towns are working on and what their plans are. And so they actually did a questionnaire for us as well to get us started. It was a starting point.
Right.
And so we're at the visioning workshop. So our next step in this first step is to get out and speak to the public. So you're our first workshop, obviously. We're trying to schedule a fourth one. We're working on the venue right now, and so that will be up on the website. Hopefully within the next week or two, that will be confirmed. And then we do have a planning commission meeting coming up that will do a status update at that meeting. Amy, do you remember, what was the exact date on that?
The 13th, it's next.
Oh, February, next week. There you go. Okay.
Right around the corner.
So tonight, well, let's go to the next one a little bit. Okay, so if you saw the flyer, hopefully most of you were able, obviously if you are attending, at some point you saw something. So the flyer went out, but I did want to say with this workshop, as you can see, not everyone here is from the Chester-Stevensville community. We have a lot of people from the county at large. So we are separating this into two separate stations or halves of the room. So hereafter, we'll have a Chester-Stevensville side, and we'll have a countywide side. And you get to choose. You can do both. We welcome, come to both sides. Or if you want to concentrate on one side or the other, you can do that as well. And I'll give you a little bit more direction on that after. But we are looking for a countywide perspective and then the community perspective. So sections of the plan, just if you haven't looked at this lately, this is an update. These are the main topical sections within the plan document that we'll be updating. And so if you look, and when we get to the stations, what you're going to see is those topics are reflected on the side. So some of what we'll be asking are kind of chunked under those main sections. And what we're really looking for is feedback on those certain topics that comprise a comprehensive plan. So I just wanted to kind of give you a chance to look at those to see what the main topical things within a county comprehensive plan. The county has lots of planning documents, and this one is focused on, obviously, land and how we use land, how we conserve land, what we do with the land. So we start with land use and work down, and we end with land use at the end. So that's the plan sections. And then for the Chester-Stevensville Community Plan, for those of you who have had an opportunity to look at that, we're going to be working and staying in these kind of 5 main topical areas. And then the top 2, where I have the arrow, that red arrow, is where we're at. So we've been working hard with getting background information and data as to what's changed in the community, because that was a 2007 document. Some of that information was 2004 and 5, actually. And so we're working on getting for all 3 community plans, the community profile. So that's a lot of things like what's the population, has it shifted, the workforce, what's the age, lots of background information like that.
We kind of have a little bit of a snapshot over here too. When you get up and you start moving around, we just brought a little something for you to see what's happening within this community. So
With Chester's on one side and Stevensville's on the other side. So we'll show you that, but we've been busy working on that. And then tonight we really want to look at that vision statement for both the community plan and the county plan. Are there changes that need to be had? What do you think about this? Is there anything that you're saying, we want to rethink this a little? And we also want to know what opportunities and challenges, what's weighing on what are the things that you've been thinking about when you heard that comprehensive plan was going to be updated? What are those thoughts that's come to your minds, particularly in the way of both things that could be challenging, but things that could be really good for the community and moving forward over the next 10 to 20 years. Mm-hmm. So we actually, my arrows are backfiring on me. The long wall was this one. So rethink this. So this side of the room is Chester-Stevensville, and you'll see, and then this is the countywide side, for the countywide perspective. And so first thing that we're going to ask, and this is how you want to do this, we're going to pull the tables out, and we're going to have some stations going on, and we have stickers and different ways for you to give us information, what you think. A lot of times when we do these big sessions, sometimes we like to start out in this way because it gives everybody a chance to speak up, even those who may not love to speak in a public session and stand up. It gives everybody a chance that has taken their time out to come to this session, a chance to be heard and for us to get your input. So we'll be at the stations, but for the visioning workshop, basically what we have is we do have the countywide vision on one side, and we have the Chester-Stevensville vision. So basically, in words, it's what do you picture, what do you envision for your community over the next, say, 20 years? We update the plans every 10 years, but typically a comprehensive planning cycle, we're looking out 20 to 30 years. So in the next couple of decades, how do you see the community? What's important? And that starts your plan. That's kind of that first thing you see, and then everything, if you think of a pH test or a litmus test, are the things that are in this plan and that's being recommended, are they then reflective of that community vision, what the community said? And so what we'll have tonight because we're trying to make, I originally was a school teacher, so I try to make things in a way that everybody, that makes
has an
sense,
opportunity.
that's organized. So we have these little stickers. And so if you look at the words over there, we purposely made it big on either side, and I'll give you the instructions again when you get to the sides. Basically, green, I like it, go. Red, stop. I don't like that. And you can put the stickers up. In addition to that, we have these ballot boxes around. And so if you have a new idea, not something already up there from 2010, and you have this new idea, then we want you to write those down so we can collect that and try to do like one idea per card. And then we'll let you know where to put it. But for the vision, if it's specific to the vision statement, it would go in the vision box. And that way, we're not saying, you don't have to put your name on it or anything like that. Really collecting thoughts, and we'll be doing this throughout the time period, and we'll give opportunities even throughout the process, through the end of summer, between the public survey and the other even public forums we will continue to give people an opportunity. So at the end, if the commissioners say, okay, what do we think about this? Why is this in the plan? Is this things that can be supported? One, we did the research and we have backup documentation, but why do we have that? Because you guys told us that that's what you want us to look into and research so that we can then support those things through other means. And what we're supposed to do as your worker bees, putting this together. And so that's the vision part, and we'll do that for the county side and for the Chester-Stevensville side. The next would be opportunities and challenges. And if you've done this before, if you were at the previous plans, I think Chester-Stevensville did a SWOT analysis where they looked at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Basically, we looked at that plan, and the things that were prioritized under weaknesses and threats, we put under challenges, and the things that were strengths and opportunities prioritized, we put under opportunities. So you'll get to look and say, okay, this is what we saw before, but if there's new things, you'll have an opportunity to put that as well. So that's really what we're trying to accomplish tonight. We're trying to do a check of the 2010 vision statement. How does that need to be tweaked, changed on both the county plan and on the Chester-Stevensville community plan? And then what are opportunities and challenges as the public sees them that will then help guide us as to what we're going to spend time researching and looking into and supporting in the plan itself. So does that make sense to everyone? So this is an opportunity. We also want to make sure that you have plenty of time to do that. So we will stay, and I think with the clipboards, we'll leave some chairs in the middle. If you want to take the clipboard, sit down, think, look, take your time. There's plenty. If you want to quickly do this and get to dinner, that's up to you too. So so at each station, and I basically already went over this, this is what we're doing. And we have dots. Okay. And then quarter one, I just kind of refresh what's going on. I briefly talked about that. So for quarter one, the top thing, that 2010 Appendix 1, that's basically those recommendations and things that came out of the previous plan that we were saying, okay, what's the status of this? What's happened with this? Tell us about the last decade. Then the community profile, we put some, there is online, I don't know if anybody had a chance to look, but there's basically a slide deck of some background information on the community from a countywide perspective. We would like to then add and do some of that with each community plan. So the way that the website, if you've had a chance to look at that, we put project downloadables on there so that you can click and be able to get information as it's being produced rather than waiting to the end and saying, we have this big long document that we want you to look at all at once. So we're going to fill that up so that you have a chance to look at that as we proceed throughout the process. And that's the nice thing about this process is it is in fact that, a process. And one thing builds on the next thing. So I think that as we go, we might tweak and make a little course corrections and do some things. But if we're doing our job right, we should have to do that. And that's because we need to be listening. So we're out here to listen and hopefully collect as much information as we can. We're also doing the community workshops and then updating. There's 3 community plans that are being updated. One thing that I do want to note with those, while some of the information is an update, they might look a little bit different. We're reformatting and we're making those flow a little bit more systematic between communities so that they flow better with the county plan. And then if you're a citizen and you're looking through, or any stakeholder, you'll find the information and the same types of ways. Everything we're doing with this, one thing we're trying really hard is to make the information a little bit more user-friendly, digestible. Even when, I don't know about you guys, when you watch the news, it's even different. Now the tickers are at the bottom and then they throw up bullet points over here and things like that. So even in this last decade, the way we view and the way we use information has changed somewhat. So we're working to do some things so that the look and the formatting makes it easier for stakeholders and everyone who views the plan to view the plan and to get that information right up front. And if you want to go further into the document, some of that more data heavy stuff will be further into the section. But I'll be giving a little bit more of an update at the Planning Commission meeting on that part. So topics of conversation for Q1, we've been working on workforce housing, and then economic development and tourism are the 2 topics we've been looking at first. And again, we're a toe-in approach. We haven't gone all the way down, but we're getting that background information to support. How about the next one? So just to let you know where we're going in Q2. So hopefully we'll be using this information, not hopefully, we will be using this information that we collect to further work on the community plans as well as the county plan. We'll be having a sustainability and growth workshop that is in March.
Towards the end.
And we'll keep adding to the website so everyone can see when we're having these. These are all open events that we'll be having. We're visiting back, we're going back to the Council of Governments to work with them. They also have, I don't know if you remember the County Town Planning, Section 5 of the Comprehensive Plan is County Town Planning. And then we'll also, going forward, we're going to be looking at sensitive areas and water resources. The county is doing a new existing land use survey. So it's really important to know where you are, to know where you're going. So we should have a really nice land use survey for mapping products and to update the mapping products throughout both the community plan and our plans and the county-wide plan. And then we're working on the priority preservation section as well in Q2. So that's kind of where we're going with Q2. We'll keep updating that website
Has
with
everybody had an
information.
opportunity to see the website?
Oh,
Sorry, I didn't know. We launched it in December, and I was just checking. If not, we do have a laptop in the back that has the website on it if you want to just take a quick glance through it. We also have the sign-in sheet, and we're asking if you want to be, as soon as you get into the website, a Stay in the Know pops up. And that puts you on an email list, and we, every Monday, send them out. Let you know what's happening, where we are, what's coming up. So if you want to get into the Stay in the Know contact listing, we just put your email address on that sign-in sheet over there, and we'll include you.
And if later you want off that contact listing?
Yes, you can unsubscribe.
There's a little
too.
thing at the bottom that says, just let us know, and we'll
Yes.
take you off the listing if we're putting too much out, so.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, we're ready for our breakout
Session.
Thank you,
We're ready to
Michelle.
move?
We're ready for the breakout session. So, what we'll do now is if you just want to get some coffee and a drink and a
Yes.
cookie, we'll just take